If you missed the last episode of Catalyst, go back and listen. If you're caught up, here's where we left off.
We'd go out, we'd get drinks and all that, but we were always responsible. That was the thing. Based on the footage and the surveillance, my brother could barely even stand. He looked severely intoxicated.
He's 25 years old, trying to trace his steps because he definitely came up this way.
On the boardwalk area, it's right off of Riverside, there was a person that lives at that apartment complex, and he saw my brother's body floating.
You can see it in the water right there. So it's a confirmed body?
I knew it. That Rainy Street, missing person? Yeah.
The next day we knew something was wrong. We called the police.
Mitchell Gutierrez stood before Austin city leaders in 2023. It had been nearly 5 years since his little brother Martin drowned in Lady Bird Lake downtown.
We did searches every day, 20 to 30 people, for 6 days.
He shared his family's story and their struggle to get answers.
Everything is accidental, and it's not. Something's going on. Something is.
By the time this meeting happened at City Hall, tension was high, as several other families had experienced their own losses even more recently.
So unfortunately, I will have to live the rest of my life without the peace of mind of knowing exactly what happened in the final minutes of his short life.
Today, I stand here in front of you all to ask you, my elected officials, to make sure no other Austinite has to be pulled out of our lakes.
How is it that the death of Martin Gutierrez occurred in 2018? How is it that the people of Austin have asked for change, but years later, nothing has been done?
The city did study potential safety improvements near the water after Martin died, but had yet to move forward on any recommendations.
I'm here not only to say that this is unacceptable, but ask that our voices will not once again fall into deaf ears.
I'm so deeply sorry for all the families that have lost loved ones.
That's City Councilman Zoe Caudry speaking. His district includes parts of the lake and the bars on Rainy Street near where Martin disappeared.
And the reason I requested this item to be on the agenda today is to give a dedicated time and space for these families to talk about their experiences and daylight issues that this council can take up to increase the safety along Rainy Street.
In a previous episode, I mentioned some of the infrastructure upgrades Austin, in partnership with the nonprofit Trail Conservancy, made after these discussions: fencing, lighting, and signage in that area. But at least 2 people have drowned in the lake since those upgrades and other initiatives were completed a few years ago. Part of the reason we launched this project and began exploring different solutions other cities have tried. It's why we went to La Crosse, Wisconsin, to learn about Operation Riverwatch, college students partnering with the city to patrol a park along the water there, where several drownings had happened in the past and have now largely stopped thanks to this program and other related efforts. After our trip to La Crosse, we brought what we'd learned back to Austin. Thank you so much for being with us. Inviting Councilman Caudry, who's still in office, and leaders from the University of Texas student government to sit down with us. Could we just introduce ourselves?
Yeah. My name's Hannah Douglas, and I am the Policy Director for Civic Engagement for UT Student Government this year.
Councilmember Zoe Caudry, proudly representing District 9 of the Austin City Council, which includes Rainy Street and also includes the University of Texas at Austin.
If Operation Riverwatch could work here, it might take the local colleges getting involved, like they did in La Crosse. So many students wanted to come up with a solution that they could be part of because they were seeing it happen to their own community. We'd reached out to the major schools in Austin. So far, UT was the only one to express interest in the program and the video we'd captured of how it works. And we were hoping to show that to you now.
This is Operation Riverwatch.
We documented a night out in La Crosse with those student volunteers and the encounters they made with people. Historically, they said many people they met seemed to have been drinking alcohol, so those students then redirected them away from that stretch of the Mississippi River.
Every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
They have really focused theirs on this park, Riverside Park specifically, because several of their drownings happened in that area. Toxicology reports show most of the drowning victims in La Crosse since the 90s were intoxicated. In Austin, over the last decade, more than a third of the 30 people who drowned in Lady Bird Lake had alcohol levels above the legal limit to drive. Obviously, it's a much different community than Austin, but there are some similarities. It's a college town. They have the bars that are in close proximity to their river. Which is why La Crosse chose to focus its late-night patrols on the half-mile stretch of Riverside Park, just a few blocks from the bars there. But would that make sense in Austin? The locations of cases locally weren't as close together. Lady Bird Lake stretches 5 miles through the city, which might make patrols here more challenging unless organizers targeted specific areas more at risk. Regular law enforcement patrols here stopped years ago with the end of Austin's park police. City police officers today respond to emergencies and other calls for service, but they've had hundreds of vacancies in recent years. Most of those in the patrol division.
In terms of staffing, APD has a shortage of officers.
Yeah, I think it's just manpower and the fact that if volunteers are available, they could be an additional resource that could help with safety.
I think one of my hesitations with something like this is that I feel like the students would be worrying about putting themselves in risk as well being down there, especially young women. We're afraid to get out of our house at night, let alone go down to the bars at 2 a.m. Is a scary thing to be telling your parents what you're volunteering for.
I agree with some of the concerns that Hannah brought up around maybe students not wanting to do this for XYZ reasons. But, with all the major universities in the area, I think this is an interesting concept.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think, at least it's worth a conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I did speak with them about possibly talking to you all if you're interested in learning more.
Yeah, I'll definitely get in contact. I meet with our volunteerism director of the university regularly.
We shared our La Crosse contacts, and after this meeting, UT students and Councilman Caudry began exploring the project's potential in Austin.
I'd be curious to obviously defer to students and the universities on if we could replicate something like this in Austin, but I do think what we the very least should do in Austin is build on the work that we've done as a council and making sure that places like Rainey Street continue to be safe and people aren't afraid to go out.
Along with infrastructure improvements in that area, the city also saw success with an EMS response program near Rainey Street in 2024. During the pilot, crews diverted a handful of people away from the water, and soon they expanded the program to other parts of downtown. But what about the safety feature many believe is needed most? Even Caudry called for cameras near Rainey Street along the lake back in 2023.
There's one thing that I do want to highlight that has been mentioned is there were no working cameras anywhere that had any visual of the trail. And that could, if not have stopped the incident, at least answered a lot of questions. And what a lot of these families...
The city says the only camera placed near the lake by Rainey Street has not been online and is out of service. Since our questions, officials tell us they're aiming to get the solar-powered device hardwired and ensure it works. It's not been capturing video.
Well, that's disappointing here. I wasn't aware of that. That's something I would talk to the manager about. Do you think there could be more cameras on in the area rather than have boots on the ground? Having cameras can also help tell a story and find people when they go missing.
Well, we'll follow up with you after you talk to city manager's office.
Sure.
The job's not over once we pass this, resolution. So I want to thank everyone on the dais, but we have a lot of work to do.
Caudry was also behind the push for a drink spiking awareness program in 2024 called Sip Safely, a pilot that's since concluded.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility if someone's drunk or someone had their drink spiked. and they walk a little bit off the path, I mean, you're in the body of water. It might have been cases of folks having their drink spike, all tragic, all avoidable, all preventable, all things that we should and can, as a city, do more about.
70 bars opted into the program. The city gave them posters to inform customers about the dangers of having your drink drugged, along with 3,500 drink testing strips and hundreds of drink covers.
Patrons can also get a drink cover they could put over their drink. It's to stop folks from getting their drink spiked.
I got a story about someone who encountered a very strange man around Lady Bird Lake.
This man believes that he was targeted and drugged, but survived to tell the story.
Content creators on social media have latched onto the drownings, highlighting theories about drink spiking and a potential serial killer in recent years. We spoke with two women behind some of the most widely shared accounts.
So I am Courtney Nicole, host of When a Killer Calls, a true crime podcast, and I'm kind of known for breaking down really complex cases in about 10 minutes or so with a neutral stance.
My name is Ashley Shepard. I go by Ashley Inc. on social media. And my series, Spooky Scary Storytime, it just kind of took a life of its own. A bunch of people started messaging me their stories. That's how I was kind of put onto all of the drownings or supposed drownings happening in Austin.
Ashley Shepard and Courtney Nicole are not local, so they rely mostly on what they pick up online, they say, to develop their content and build their massive true crime audiences.
I have over, I would say over 2 million followers across all platforms.
On TikTok, I'm just sitting a little over 1.9 million, but across platforms, I think it's about 2.5 million.
I have not been able to sleep at night because I have been searching the darkest corners of the internet to find out what is going on at Lady Bird Lake in Austin, Texas.
I just want everyone in the area to remain cautious if you're out drinking near the lake or on Rainy Street.
Yeah, well, when the drownings first started, a lot of locals in Austin were commenting on my videos on TikTok and asking me to look into it from an outside perspective with fresh eyes. I think probably the first thing that stood out to me was how many of the victims were last seen on or near Rainy Street.
And they've even named this possible killer as the Rainy Street Ripper.
Our analysis of drowning victims in Lady Bird Lake over the last decade shows fewer than a quarter, just 7 out of 30, actually disappeared from or were found near Rainy Street. Police and other officials like Kadri say when social media stretches the facts, it can lead to other inaccuracies and difficulty in targeting effective solutions, not to mention confusion and upset among victims' families.
I think the serial killer narrative, in all honesty, is fairly damaging to a lot of folks who are grieving, because rather than find closure and find peace, then they grapple onto this serial killer concept, and there's no closure until you find the person who did this to your loved ones.
My main goal is to always be respectful and to just at the end of the day get people talking about cases that would otherwise go unheard.
Social media is unique in that anybody can be part of the conversation. It's different people coming together to piece together breadcrumbs to form the whole picture.
And social media just amplifies and platforms things that you normally wouldn't be able to do. And I think it's easy to spread misinformation and for things to pick up with the current state of social media.
People sometimes in those videos go viral and you can't control what everyone says in the comments. They really feel like something more sinister is taking place. And I'm not an expert. I'm obviously not a police officer, so I can't say for sure what's going on, but I agree with them. I feel like it's hard to feel safe when you have all of these drownings and these victims in such a short period of time. And they kind of all seem to be connected and, really unexplained.
Police have said repeatedly for years that there is no serial killer in Lady Bird Lake. What do you think when you hear police say that?
In my opinion, it's APD's duty to protect Austinites, and if that's a conclusion that they're coming up with, that's one that I, would believe.
Police maintain these cases are not connected. Almost all were ruled accidental, some undetermined, and that they were thoroughly investigated by the medical examiner and detectives who found no signs of foul play, even when it comes to drugs. Martin Gutierrez's autopsy report didn't show any illicit or prescription drugs. Police tell us other recent Lady Bird Lake drowning investigations resulted in similar findings. Still, Mitchell Gutierrez suspects someone might have spiked his brother's drink and suggests toxicology didn't screen for certain street drugs. Police say evidence hasn't pointed to that possibility in any of the victims.
It's all because of this f***ing water. I hate it. Somebody took him away from us, and I won't stop till I get answers. He deserved that. him, all the others, they all deserve better. There's so many hurt family members, and nothing's getting done.
Mitchell welcomes new solutions, with eyes on the ground, like people patrolling the lake or more cameras, anything to help stop drownings and see what's really happening. Until then, police might have a perception problem from the public, one where mistrust and disbelief, likely fueled by social media, overshadow the truth and can even impact their investigative work. Which is why police turn to an academic expert, someone who's studied serial killers and their hunting grounds for decades, and was willing to discuss his findings with us, even if they didn't support what police wanted to hear. Next time. How do you determine if there is the likelihood of a serial killer or not?
Something called spatial temporal clustering, which simply means, do we have too much happening in too small an area in too short a time period for it just to be random?
How do you think that this study might help set the record straight?
I think just having actual facts research to kind of demonstrate a bigger picture and a better understanding of there's just not any factual evidence to support that there's a killer.
To learn more about Austin's Lady Bird Lake drownings, watch our docuseries and explore our digital investigation online now at kxan.com/beneath the surface. Catalyst is reported and produced by me, Josh Hinkle, along with David Barrere, Arzo Dost, and Dalton Huey. Our editor is Richie Bose. Digital support comes from Robert Sims and Kate Winkle. KXAN's news director is Haley Syhawk, and its general manager is Eric Glassberg.